All right, how you guys doing today? We about to hop into the review of Proverbs chapter 18 of First Things First. Oh, make sure you like that video. Hit that little exit full screen, scroll a bit, like it, and then full screen it back up. You feel me? All right, so we got verse 1. Through desire, a man having separated himself and seeks inner through desire, a man having separated himself seeks and intermitteth with all wisdom. And this is very misleading because at first you think it just says, oh, a man separates himself. He goes his own way to seek and intermeddleth with wisdom. However, you look at the other translation, a man who isolates himself seeks his own desire. He rages against all wise judgment. Unfriendly people care about themselves, lash out against common sense. Whoever isolates himself seeks his own desire and breaks out against all sound judgment. Now, Pastor Paul reads in the ESV or whatever. And so me seeing this, I'm like, that's not what I thought it was saying, because that's not what he said it's saying. And then I had to go to the other translations to see that, oh, this is actually hard to understand in the KJV. So this is where having different Bible translations comes into play. So this channel is about studying the Bible, right? I'm a student. I'm not a teacher, preacher, whatever. This is just me sharing what I learned from studying this chapter, or or part of the chapter, however much we cover today. And as such, right, you just seen how I got this verse wrong, had to look at different translations. That's why I think this website, blueletterbible.com, I'll switch the screen. Blue Letter Bible right here, great website. Go to tools, go to Bibles, you get all the translations. Interlinear, you can look at the Greek, you can click this button, open a new tab, see what the Greek means. Bacchus, Bacchish, verb, primitive root. There's references, all the times it's been translated into some stuff, all the different definitions it's been used in, the Strong's definition, the Brown Driver Briggs lexicon stuff, if that matters to you, the Genesis, whatever word, Hebrew Chaldee lexicon, and then all the biblical usage as well of these words. And you can just go on, you can hear how it sounds, you can see how it's written, what it means translated wise. And yeah, that's pretty fire. You got the commentaries based on the chapter. Look at all this stuff. Proverbs 18, study tools, Bible introductions, verse by verse, commentary, all these different stuff, right? From all that cross references. I don't use the cross references stuff, but I think it's talking about verses that it may relate to. So yeah, it's like verses that are similar, right? For wherein shall it be known here that I and thy people have found grace in thy sight? Is it not that thou goest with us? Is it not that God's with us? Because so shall we be separated, I and thy people, from all the people that are upon the face of the earth, right? Seeing we found all the grace in thy sight because we're with you. And if we're separated, then it's not going to be good, right? Anyway, back to this, right? So we mentioned in the sermon how it was kind of like you going on a season of isolation, and seasons of isolation can be good, right? You're going and fasting and praying by yourself and all that stuff, focusing on you, which is good. It's just not good when you're chasing after your own desires and separating yourself, where people are coming up to you like, hey, write that verse in Matthew that's like, hey, go to your brother one-on-one. If he doesn't listen to you, bring it in front of two people. If they don't listen to you, bring it in front of the church. And if you don't, then you lost your brother. If he comes back, you gained your brother back, right? If you're isolating yourself, your brother's coming to you, hey, I don't think this is good, and you're like, nope, boom, close the door, and then you're not talking to him. Other people are coming up to you, yo, this seems dangerous, I don't think you should be living like this and doing XYZ, and you're like, huh, nope, close the door. And that keeps happening until you're just left alone because you want to do what you want to do and not what God has for you. You've separated yourself, and at that point you're raging against wisdom, because wisdom is found from the Lord. He gives it out generously, we're told, right? So through your own desires, you have to see, is it your desires or is it God's desires? Because when it's your desires, chances are you're going to separate yourself from either godly people or God or whatever the case may be, wisdom, and then you're going to lose some wisdom. And what wisdom does is it guides your life, right? That's God blessing you with wisdom to help guide your life. And then if you don't separate yourself, so if you seek out God, right, you seek or his desire rather than your own, right, you're seeking God, chances are you're going to gravitate towards more but godly people. You're going to come together, you're going to join more wisdom, you're going to be living a better, fruitful life, right? A fool has no delight in understanding, that his heart may discover itself. See? Same type thing. You're a fool if you don't delight in this wisdom that you're warning against if you separate yourself. Your heart is trying to discover itself. And how much do we see this with science? Oh, we found that this happens and this happens and this happens because science says so. No, no. But also, my bad, this is not what that's talking about. This is saying it only expresses its opinion, right? Displaying its self-indulgence and its stupidity. And he said to see this, all you got to do is go look at a comment section anywhere, right? It's just a bunch of people spewing their opinions. Now, I know we've just had a big discussion based series of videos on my channel where people are in the discussion, they're in the comments, sharing stuff. That's different because we're all Christians at the end of the day. And if you're not a Christian and you're in the comment section, you're something, right? You care to some extent as long as you're being respectful. And so we're all Christians at the end of the day, so we all have our faith in Jesus, so we're all saved, hopefully. And with that, we're sharing ideas on what we believe that's, like, you could argue non-salvific, but I think for some people it is salvific. I don't know. All I know is it's through grace, through faith. You can't fight that one. You just can't fight that one. You know what I'm saying? You can't say it's not. All right, we're just blessed with this. We don't deserve it. We just were gifted it. Right? Right. So when the wicked comes, oh wait, we didn't finish. Yeah, so you see it in the comment section. Everybody just listens to themselves. They want to spew their own opinion, they want to do their own thinking, they want to do their own thing, and because of this, they separate themselves. When the wicked comes, there also comes anger, contempt, and with ignominy, reproach. I don't even know what this word means. Ignominy, public shame or disgrace. So shame and reproach. When the wicked comes, then comes the anger and all that, contempt. The words of a man's mouth are as deep waters, and the wellspring of wisdom as a flowing brook. Right. And we're told, I just finished reading, I think it was Matthew 16. I couldn't exactly tell you, right? But Jesus said that it's what comes out of a man's mouth that defiles him, right? Because everything that goes in, it goes through the thing and excretes out through the butt, right? But the words come from the heart, which is which defiles a man. So the words of the man's mouth are deep waters, and the wellspring of wisdom is a flowing brook. Meaning, if the words out of your mouth aren't deep waters coming from this brook, they're coming from a black lagoon out of your heart, which is what our heart really is, right? This black lagoon. There's nothing dwells good in us, right? Our sin is our flesh. The flesh is sinful. So when we trust God, we get the water coming from the flowing brook of well springs of wisdom. It's not good to accept the person of the wicked, to overthrow the righteous in judgment, right? When we start obstructing justice and we start prioritizing the wrong things in life, which you can see, I don't want to say specifically now because, in America we have a new president, right? It's not about now, but of all time, when we start upholding certain levels of justice to wrong people and we start giving out pardons to different people, right? When we're looking at the child whatevers and we're like, oh, you deserve life in jail. Yes, that's bad. Put them in jail for life. Then we look at somebody who's like, oh, you're peddling drugs into the years, like 5 years. Like, keep that same energy? Question mark. Why is the guy dealing drugs not the same as the guy? It's wrong, and it's putting harmness on the community. One is actually doing more harm to more people, you could argue, right? But so that was actually a really bad example. I'm sorry, I'm gonna leave it in just because, like, it wasn't horrible, but like it was bad. It's supposed to be like the innocent guy, we're persecuting the innocent guy, and then the wicked guy we're letting walk free, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's not good to accept the person of the wicked, like, hey, come on in, or hey, exonerate him, bring him out from jail, first day out, he's free, and overthrow the righteous man, like, you're doing a good job, we're just gonna throw you out. A fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calls for strokes. I think strokes means like beatings, lashings. Yeah, they ask for a beating. Why? Because their words gonna be in constant fights, and you're just gonna get beat, right? My dad always told us this quote: "A hard head leads to a soft behind." I think we looked it up on the channel once, and I don't know. It's the butt's supposed to be like tender because it got beat too much. But you talk smart with your parents, you get that whoopsh, whoopsh. What does Proverbs say? We're gonna find it eventually. It's gonna be in here eventually. There's a verse that's gonna say, "Beat your kids with a rod, they won't die." Unless we already covered it. I don't really remember, to be honest. I don't think we did, but I see it occasionally, so it's like always fresh in my mind. But I don't think we covered it yet. Anyway, a fool's mouth is his destruction. His lips are the snare of his soul. It's gonna get him caught up. He gonna, at the end of the last day. Proverbs 18:8. The words of a talebearer are as wounds. They go down to the innermost parts of a belly. And when I first saw this, right, he didn't go over every single verse in Proverbs because, like, a lot of them have the same things that I've been talking about before. But any teacher will tell you, or education major, as I am an education major, right? Or just pretty much anybody should tell you that repetition is key when you want to learn something or have it stick within you. So having these verses and meanings like said over and over again should drill them deep inside you. Why? because the words of a talebearer are as wounds. They go down to the innermost parts of the belly. And what I think is important about this, he reads it in the ESV, so it's different for him. And I'm pretty sure he read this somewhere before. But it's different for him because of the ESV. But for this, we'd see, oh, the words of a talebearer are as wounds. You think, oh, they're like the words of a lie spitter, gossiper, whatever. It's like a wound that goes down into the innermost part of the belly, right? You got stabbed so deep. But it's actually saying the words of a talebearer are tasty trifles, right? Rumors are dainty morsels, delicious morsels, dainty morsels to be greedily eaten. The words of a gossiper are dainty. I don't know what a dainty morsel is, but you get the point. I hope, right? They go down to the innermost part of the body. They go down to the innermost chambers of the bodies to be remembered and mused upon. AKA, when gossip is happening, your body or the flesh takes that as, oh, this is good. This is good. I mean, think about it. How many people watch stuff while they're eating, and how much of it revolves around drama or stuff like that, right? I'm no better. I'm guilty, but I like to think, which could be right or wrong, right? I like to think that I can learn stuff from it, from the drama, the type of drama that I watch. Mostly, it's like people, kind of like the news. You know how the news will be like, oh, this guy's house burnt down because his oven was on fire because he went to take a nap while his brownies were in the oven. Or something like that, where you're like, oh, mental note, don't leave my brownies in the oven. But for me, it's more like, oh, this guy's now got X amount of money in child support because he didn't pick a good woman. And we'll see in Proverbs eventually, picking a good woman is good, which I actually think is this chapter. So let's keep on pushing, right? It's good. It's gonna go down to the innermost part of the body. You're gonna greedily eat these rumors up until it does bad to you, right? Because they say you are what you eat. One, two. They also say stuff like abs are made in the kitchen. Your body's a physical representation of the level of discipline you have. So when you're eating all this stuff, it's gonna make you bad. Why? Because you eat like so much junk food. What does your body do? It's gotta purge that. You get fat. Why? Because it's storing. You're eating too much, so it's gotta store that, and you look worse. You're more tired because you're eating these high calorie, high sugar foods, and your body's crashing because it's like so much energy, and then it's like we're not even using it. Store it, and then you're like, crash. All right, you break out in pimples. You're dehydrated. You're oily, dirty. Yeah, if that's you. Anyway, but you get the point, right? All that bad stuff you eat, it manifests itself on your skin, manifests yourself on your outward appearance, just like these guys were, right? They go down to the inner part of your body, and it makes your heart bad. It makes your heart bad. Why? Because it makes you numb to it. Eventually, you just get numb to it, right? I have a sugar addiction. I won't even lie. Just a little bit of a sugar addiction. I'd say like the most moderate sugar addiction you can have, where it's just like after every meal, I like to have some sugar as like a dessert, a little finisher to the meal, so to speak. So I remember one time when I tried to wean myself off of it, right? Less and less. And I remember it was like off and on for how I would wean. But one time I was just like, let's just go cold turkey, whatever. And I think it was because I was thinking about it. There's some days I wouldn't think about it. But when I thought about it, it would be like, all right, no sugar after dinner. And then I would feel these cravings for it. And it was similar to a withdrawal. Like I would assume a drug withdrawal would feel not as bad, obviously, depending on the drug, I guess. But it was just like I could feel my body was like, we're not done. We're not done. We need, you know what I'm saying? Like this is what this is what we're used to. I need it, right? Because the body is a sinful thing. It's just like it's based on your senses, right? The Bible's talked about this before. Sensuality, only chasing what your senses can handle. Things like sex, things like food, whatever else makes your body just feel good without being good, right? Being lazy, stuff like that. So the words of a talebearer, gossiper, a liar, a whisperer, they go down to your body and then they physically manifest themselves. One, probably gonna be less happy with life, more anxious, because you're like, I can't trust anybody, and you're mad at everybody all the time, and you're thinking, who's about me, and who can I lie about? Who can I? Oh, you do that, and you're just constantly making scrunch face and disgust or eagerness or whatever the case is, and it's physically manifesting itself. One, but it's affecting your heart, and it's getting your body used to these bad habits of, well, I have to talk about how almost am I going to be entertained without talking about people in a negative way? Talk about them in a positive way. Oh, did you hear what so and so did with his kids last weekend? He's such a great father, man. Did you hear what X did at the gym, man? He's so strong. He had a new PR, But instead, it's, oh, did you hear what so and so did with his girlfriend? You're gonna break up with him one day, I swear. Or, Oh, did you hear what so and so did in the test? Bro got like a 30. Yo, he's mad stupid. And so it's just this physical manifestations, one, and two, getting your body used to these habits. So when people are gossiping, it's what you're putting into your body, right? Your ears are a vessel in, right? We were just told in this chapter and before chapters, your mouth is a representation of what's coming out of your body. Your ears, your eyes are what's going in, right? Jesus even said the eyes are lamps of the body. And if the eyes so much are, what are the ears, right? Because the eyes reflect off of the light waves off of everything, and that's how we see. The ears, they go off the sound waves of everything, and we take sound in, right? And that's how we discern things. We discern things based off their look. We discern things based off their hearing. We discern things based off taste, off smell, and touch, right? We don't touch thorns. We don't smell poisonous gases. We don't taste poison or adverse things. We don't eat food that we look at and we're like, ugh. And we don't go near things that are too loud, right? Your body has its senses for a reason, right? These words are sweet, right? We're gonna get to a point later, I think, where the Proverbs are gonna talk about the lady whose lips are like honeycombs with lies and deceit, if we didn't already pass it before, right? But her words are like a honeycomb, right? They're deceitful, and they're so sweet and they're so good, but it's not good for you, right? It's overindulgence kind of thing. You feel me? So, hope that made sense. All right, that's gonna be the end of the video. Hope you guys have yourself a fantastic rest of your day. Peace.